Welcome back to Girl Talk. We are filming at Bella Domicile. Later on, we have a very special segment where we're going to take a look at the galley sink. If you haven't seen this before, definitely want to stay tuned for that. But first, we're going to turn our discussion to stress. Stress is one of those things in small doses, not so bad and actually kind of good for us. But bigger doses can really wreak some havoc on our bodies, our relationships, our lives. Here to talk to us about stress is Dr. Bailey Nye from All About Chiropractic. Thanks for coming in, Dr. Bailey.
Thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So, stress, why is it important for us?
Well, stress is actually our body's hormonal response that actually goes all the way back to primitive ages. The reason why we have this hormonal response is to act as that fight or flight against any predators. So if we were at a water hole with a saber-toothed tiger, we want to be able to get away from that. But now, since today we don't really have those predators, a lot of times what can create a heightened stress response or similar response are things in our lifestyle like poor diet, emotion, and physicalities. It's also known as a silent killer, and it's known because a lot of people don't even realize that they can be stressed or are stressed, or how their body's responding, and it can cause a catalyst to a lot of lifestyle diseases like heart disease and cancer.
I've heard about that with chronic stress where it becomes so prolonged that you kind of don't even realize it's there anymore.
It becomes second nature.
It's the new norm.
Yeah.
So I can tell, when I'm wigging out, oh my gosh, I'm stressed right now, but maybe you can tell me like some more signs of how do I know that I'm stressed?
Sure. Signs and symptoms of stress vary. Minor symptoms can be things like sleep loss, fatigue, headaches, but there are some more severe symptoms that you can get from stress like chest pain, indigestion, or even depression. And if you even have any of those symptoms, it's highly recommended that you get professional help and seek out your wellness doctor to figure out what's causing those underlying symptoms.
You're right, it just becomes the norm, like all of those things. But
So I tell my clients all the time, like when when you're buying a house or there's a major life event, a big change, they get stressed out. And I'm like, well, even happy stress is still stress.
Right.
So
yeah.
are there different types of stress, and like how many are there?
Yeah, you're exactly right. There's two types of stress, and you hit on both of them. There's eustress, which is good stress, something that causes that positive response in our body or that pleasureful response, if you will. But then there's also what most of us know as stress, which is distress. So that's the second type. However, there's three variables to distress. There's physical, which is things like sports, maybe accidents, repetitive posture on a daily basis. More of that emotional, just like what you're talking, buying a house is completely emotional.
You're excited,
You're
but you're
excited
like,
and nervous.
what if something goes wrong?
Having a baby, just different things like that. And then there's chemical stressors, so things that are affected in your daily lifestyle, like potentially eating a lot of processed foods or sugar or caffeine, and all of those can have a different effect. But you have to keep in mind too that somebody's eustress can also be somebody's distress. And the example I kind of like to use with those two is that we have a stressor like a roller coaster. Some people it's really exhilarating, really thrilling, exciting, but then for somebody else it can be completely terrifying and the worst thing ever. So there's definitely different types of responses.
That's a great point to remember. That's true. Talk to us about some of the coping skills for different types of stress.
Sure. For emotional stressors, what we usually recommend are a couple things that we found that work really well. Everybody has a to-do list, right? So one of those positive things to affect that emotional stress is to actually create a stop doing list. Our days are filled with so many things that actually attribute to that negative quality of life that we're not picking out those good things for us. So by eliminating some of those negative stressors, we can actually have a more positive outcome. Another thing that we highly recommend is just making that time for yourself in the middle of the day, unplugging for about 10 minutes, just from no technology, no lights, no music, no people, okay? So
No stimulation.
Yep, exactly, and that can make a more positive outcome for the rest of your day. Hands-on therapies for physical stress is really good, massage and chiropractic. People that get these done on a consistent basis are up to 70% less stress than others.
I think you'd be more effective too because you kind of get that recharge, refresh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fresh.
This is a great topic. I
Yeah.
think it touches home with.
We can talk a lot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'd love to have you come back and maybe we can talk about it some more.
Sure.
We're going to have to move on, take a commercial
No
break.
problem.
When we come back, we'll be talking with Orange Theory Fitness. That's another good way to maybe deal with some
Yes,
stress.
absolutely.
We'll be right back.